I think today might be the day that we finally build an airport in London. And if everything goes to plan, we are going to somehow build an airport up here in Belfast that is going to connect to Belfast, and probably an airport in Dublin as well. I don't know if we need two necessarily, but we'll see what we do. I want to play with planes today is what I'm getting at. But there is one, maybe two things I would like to do first, because I happen to notice that both Brighton and Canterbury want tools, and there is a tools factory right here by Brighton that just happens to want planks to make those tools. So I figure we get that up and running. We have a sawmill down here by Brighton. We have a factory over in Bournemouth. So that's a relatively easy run. We just use trucks to go back and forth. And then London also happens to want machines. Now, not that many of them, and we could conceivably bring machines sort of via Manchester down to London, and that's something we might do. But I was thinking that maybe we get the Plymouth Machines factory up and running, because Plymouth itself happens to want machines and tools. There is a steel mill right here. There is a coal mine up here by Bristol. There is an iron mine up by Bristol as well. So it wouldn't be the worst idea in the world to go ahead and get the Brighton sawmill up and running, use half of that production for the tools, half of that production goes to the machines. The steel from those two, well, the steel from the steel mill goes over there to the machines as well. It's a whole thing we could do. I don't know if we need to do that with the machines though. We'll see about that one, but for sure, we're getting started in here with some tools production. So let's go ahead and connect this good old forest over to the sawmill. And the way I want to do this is just by going around the coast as best I possibly can. So it's an interesting looking road at the very least. This isn't going to be the most efficient way of doing this for sure, but it's okay. We can bring it sort of down and around like this, and it'll be a fun drive if nothing else. I do want to bring this road back though, because we can do so much better than what we've done right there. We'll go ahead and basically skip that entire forest, although there looks to be a hill there that we might have to contend with. But what I would like to do is go straight off the side there and straight off the side right about there. And some way, somehow, we're going to connect from this guy down here on the left up to this guy here. That looks totally fine. And we're going to do something similar over here. We're just going to go out and around like this, which does have a bit of a hill to contend with, but honestly, we have $1.2 billion at this point. I think I can afford to start doing, you know, some more straight lines right here. So that's going to be a connection from the sawmill over to Brighton itself. What way do I want to go to get over to that factory? I think at the very least, this road can be upgraded here. I want to say this road's going to be upgraded. This road's going to be upgraded. And so is this one, as well as that entire one right there. I think that's probably fine. So the vehicles will come onto this road. They'll go over here. And then do I want them to sort of, oh, do I want to do this quickly? What way do I want to do this? I don't want to cause a traffic nightmare. That's something I'd really like to avoid doing if at all possible. So I'm definitely going to try my best with that. But for now, let me flatten some terrain here so I have some space to work with this road, because it's in a bit of a weird spot, that factory. And then hopefully I can bring this road just down to here in a way that doesn't look too bad. That is honestly okay. We're not going to do a bridge because I'm going to smooth all this terrain out at some points. And then this guy is going to connect over to, how do I want to do this? This is going to be a little bit of a busy stretch of road, I think. I think what we can do is upgrade all of that so that we have a couple more lanes there. This is the connection from London to Brighton itself. So maybe I redo this road a little bit. That might not be the worst idea, to be completely honest. Sort of go up and around this way to try and take traffic off of that road. I kind of like the idea of doing that. Whether or not it works, I'm not too sure, but I'd like to see if it's a thing we can do. So if I was to sort of come off of, say, here, I'm going to use a regular sort of country road for this, but we'll come out a little bit here, and then we want to curve. I'm going to just I'm ignoring hills for now, because I think I need to. I think it's going to be for the best. Although I would like to do, let's see, a little straight section of road right here, just so I've got something to sort of connect all of this up to. Basically, this is kind of what I'm thinking. We'll go into a tunnel, which I don't necessarily love, but the goal is to take traffic away from that main road. So we'll sort of come out like this, going up this hill, and then we want to go around and connect to this new road. So that looks all right as far as I'm concerned. Whether or not it does what I need it to do is potentially going to be a different story, but we're gonna find out together is what we're gonna do. And you know, it kind of looks like this is working. So what we'll do is just bring this road straight through, I guess. This is gonna be our connection that brings us over to that factory is what it's gonna be. So once the game's done auto-saving, I can approve of this and then hopefully just bring this around. Something like that is kind of exactly what I'm looking for. We will go through and smooth out the terrain, of course, hiding my crimes just a little bit. And then over here, this all needs a little bit of love as well, just to make it look a little bit less terrible, because it's really looking a little bit terrible. And I think that's okay. It's still very clearly a hill that's been built for the road, but I don't mind that too much as long as I can't see it super clearly from far away. Also, why are you coming down here? What line is going down this way now? What do you do? Canterbury Food to City is now going down this. I guess it is quicker than going through London. I don't know that I want them doing that, but sure. I guess that's quicker. I think at the very least, I would like to upgrade this main you know what? Just upgrade the entire thing, I guess, into something a bit bigger. Let me just downgrade this guy to something a bit smaller. So this is kind of, this is sort of treated as your main road is what I'm thinking. I'm also going to do this as well, because at this point, I'm kind of just improvising. I'm kind of just making it up as I go along. So we'll see how traffic deals with this. Having this four-way intersection is not going to be good for traffic, but it's something we can deal with in a little bit. For the time being, though, let's get ourselves a depot down this way, which is going to be both for picking up tools and dropping off planks. And then over this way, we're going to need something similar. Now, what way do I want to do this? That is the real question. Can I take out some chunks of this road to tidy it up a little bit just while we're here as well? So take out this part, or rather build this part and then take out this whole section. That should let us build something just a little bit neater looking, a little bit more of a gradual slope down to here, just because I want it to be neat and tidy. And then we will do a little bit of terraforming in here. I say a little bit, it's $2.2 million worth of terraforming. But what that's going to let me do is build a little section of road right about here where I can go ahead and build this guy, which is going to be connected down to that sawmill. We can then smooth all of this terrain so you would never know I was even here, which is kind of perfect. And then over this way, we just need something where we can pick up a whole bunch of planks. So this guy can essentially just live in the forest, but we will still do that extra little stretch of road just so the traffic behaves. This is still connected, which is perfect. We can, you know, tidy those things up a little bit later on if that's a thing that I want to do. Although I do want to make sure that terrain's nice and neat. And then essentially we just need a line that goes from this forest to this sawmill over to Brighton Halt. And then we deliver tools to both Brighton and Canterbury. So let's, before we build that line, get some final stops for them. So we'll have a stop right down here in Brighton, and then over in Canterbury, it is going to be, I mean, it's here. So I'm going to put it on this stretch of road so the trucks kind of loop around a little bit. So that right there is going to be our Brighton logs to planks line. And then the Brighton tools line, I was very tempted to have it come down into Brighton itself and be the line doing the delivering. But I think since this is also going to be supporting Canterbury, that's probably a bad idea. What I would like to do is maybe expand some of these stations just so we have more room for dropping things off and picking things up. So let's go in and do that before we continue, because I'm allowing the trucks to come in here and use both platforms to pick up the logs. So if I come over this way, we are going to have a little bit of a tailback. So what we can do is add a couple more platforms on either side of this guy, which I think is fair. We'll extend the platforms a bit as well. And of course, we will do some buildings back there just because it really brings this whole thing together. We will, of course, need to hide some crimes because, again, we've got some terrain stuff going on here, which isn't the end of the world, but I just like it to look neat. And then very simply, logs to planks is going to be going to, we'll say platform number 1, but also platform number 2. So it's going to the 2 leftmost spots in this station. When it comes to planks to tools, we want to say here. No, wait a minute. This line is what we're looking for. We want you on platform 3, but also platform 4, so they can pick up planks from both of those locations, which is super important. And then over by this factory, we want to give it quite a few options. So we're going to say those 2 platforms will be for dropping off the planks, because if we're picking up from 2 platforms, we want to be dropping off in 2 platforms. These 2 on the right are going to be for, I guess, going ahead and taking the tools to the destinations is what we're going to say there. I will go ahead and extend this as well, just to make sure that we have plenty of room, but we should be totally fine. This looks decent enough. It's nice and industrial looking, which is what I want out of it. So the Brighton tools or planks to tools line is going to be going to platform number, that's the wrong one, platform number 2 for you. Oh, have I messed this up? I think I've messed this up. I think it's platform 3 for that one. It is. Here at Brighton Holt, you are going to number 4, but also number 3. So it's the 2 on the left for the drop off. And then the delivery into Brighton and the delivery over to Canterbury can be those 2 rightmost platforms. So we'll go in and say, we want to go from here down into Brighton itself. That is road cargo. It is Brighton, and it is tools to city is what it's going to be. And it's a beautiful yellow line. Now, at the drive, we want to make sure you're only unloading tools so that we don't risk picking anything up that we don't want. And then for the Canterbury line, let's go ahead and make sure you're going over that way, which you absolutely are. I would like the trucks to go out and around though, so give me a waypoint there. And then let's make sure that you are actually going out and around, which you are. So road cargo, it is Canterbury, and it is tools to city is what it's going to be. It's also a nice light green, which I think is that one. Yeah, that looks like it's the same color. I'm sure that's fine. I'm sure that's exactly what I'm looking for. Going to be dropping off tools in Canterbury as well. And we are pretty much good to go. We're pretty much set as long as these guys are all in the right places, which of course they are not. Perfect. Let's put you on platform number 1. So we have these 2 occupied. These 2 are technically occupied as well. That is kind of perfect as far as I'm concerned. So what we'll do, since this is all connected together, I guess is build, well, I was going to build ourselves a new road depot, but I don't know that we need one. I mean, we probably do, to be fair. I think down here in Bournemouth, we might as well build ourselves some kind of road depot. The industry for this place is up this way, so we'll build it right there in that intersection. And I guess since we're going back and forth here, let's get started with some trucks. Now we have these guys and these guys. We're going to be going with the tarpaulin truck. Although we could go with the one that has the side stakes, although I don't think that's any better. Oh, wait, hold on a minute. Hold on. So the tarpaulin truck does 12. Is it the Benz truck that I've been wanting? No, the tarpaulin truck's what we're supposed to be using. It moves 12, but the truck with the side stakes moves 13. I finally found a purpose for these trucks. That's kind of fantastic. Give me 10 of them to start with. Let's paint them a nice dark red because I think that'll look very cool. And then they're going road cargo, logs to planks is where they're going. And right away, this line has a rate of 329, which is beautiful. I'm going to double that so that we can instantly max out this forestry industry that we have right here. We're not going to be delivering 800 units of logs right off the bat. This is something that's going to take a minute to sort of build up to, but that's okay. This is sort of future proofing. Turns out we do need the 25 vehicles right there. So we'll stick with the 25 vehicles to give us 823 on the rate. This guy, when it levels up fully, will be able to produce 800 logs. But this guy is not going to be demanding 800 logs for a while, but that's all right. I'm not super worried about it. This thing is going to max out at a production of 400. So very simply, what I would like to do is buy myself some more trucks. I'm kind of thinking this guy again, because it's moving 13 versus the 12 here. That seems fine. I'm going to start with 25 vehicles right off the bat. They're moving planks, so let's paint them this color just to be a little bit different. And that is Brighton planks to tools. So they can head out and do their thing. That is going to give us a rate of 353 on this line, which is not bad, but I want it to be a little bit higher. Give me 5 more vehicles to try and get that rate to 423. That's fine. So that should mean, essentially, this line is ready for the future. This line is ready for the future. We just need to start, moving tools into Brighton and Canterbury. So Brighton has a demand of 20. Canterbury has a demand of 29. So basically, we want to try and match those numbers. Now, since we're not going to be producing anything for a while, we could go with a closer road depot. I'm just going to go with this one. And I guess what we'll do is start with probably the tarpaulin truck is going to be what we're looking for, because we're moving tools. We're moving 12 of them. These guys aren't really very good at that. So yes, we'll go with the Opel Blitz tarpaulin truck. We'll buy 2. We'll paint them sort of a silvery color because it's tools that we're moving. And one of those is going to be Brighton, let's see, tools to city. The other one is going to be Canterbury, tools to city. So with that done, we have to go in here. We have to pin this as well, and we want to have these rates match. So Brighton is demanding 20. We have a rate of 17. Let's just double that right off the bat. And then if we look at the Canterbury line, it has a rate of 17 as well with a demand of 29. So pretty much the same thing. We'll just go ahead and double that as well. And that is pretty much a tools industry started in the south of England for both Brighton and Canterbury. Now, let's keep in mind, we could bring those over to Cardiff. We can bring them down to Exeter as well. We can bring them down to Plymouth. But this is just getting started. It's just getting started, and that's all right. We can absolutely expand this if and when we need to. It is just going to take a minute, is what it's going to do. So while all of that is getting started and, getting off the ground, I want to come into London and I want to start looking at an airport. Now, I was going to try and build some airports down this way, but we kind of don't have the room for it with this train bridge in here, whereas we do have this space up here that I kind of like. So my thinking for this is that I'm going to try my best to build an airport in here. Is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to flatten a whole bunch of terrain because we're going to be doing that anyway. It's an airport. But I want to give myself a nice big space to work with because I kind of have an idea for how I want this to work and what I want it to look like. So if I can get myself some room in here, that seems fine by me. This road right here, I would like to just disconnect it for a second because I think we can make it look a little bit better and probably function a little bit better as well. So we'll take that right back. Essentially what I'm going to do with it is first off, turn it into this guy. So it comes out to about that spot. That is going uphill ever so slightly. I wonder if I just drag it out, can I carve out that terrain? And I totally can, which I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of okay with doing. So we're going to carve out that terrain. We're going to swap this out for this country road and connect it up to there. We can upgrade up to about that spot. I think we'll honestly just upgrade. You know what? Take all of this out as well. Let's get rid of that connection. Let's make these guys just look a little better since we're starting to get some serious infrastructure in here. I think it makes sense that we try and, make it look the part at the very least. And there we go. We have ourselves a main road that comes out of London heading towards Cambridge, which I think makes perfect sense. Now, this bit of road needs to go away, and I want to come back in here with my flattener just to make sure that this is all nice and level, which it seems to be. I would like to sort of continue this way just a little bit, because what I'm going to try and do is give myself some kind of one-way road going around the airport itself. So I'm building this guy as a bit of a guideline. And, well, am I building it as a guideline? Do I need to build it as a guideline? I don't know. I'm going to go to about here is what I'm going to do. And we do have right-hand drive traffic, so we're not going to be building. It's going to be going around to the right is what it's going to be doing. But that is going to be our guide for where the airport itself is going to be going. So let's put this road across here. We obviously have a bit of a conflict in the middle there, but that's okay. The airport itself is this. It's not huge by any means, but it will certainly do the job. So this is our passenger airfield. I'm kind of okay with that. I think a passenger airfield sounds lovely. I want to say it can live right about there, and I think I'm all right with that. And then let's turn this one-way road around and let's start to sort of, well, you know what? This is also going to have room for cargo, I think. We can do, so we have a hangar right here. Let's get rid of the hangar. Let's do another passenger terminal. Let's do another passenger terminal. Let's do, of course, the game wants to, I need to turn down auto-saving, man. We've had this problem with City Skylines for years where I don't turn off auto-saving, but I turn it down to not be as frequent, and then the game starts crashing and I start losing stuff and start losing my mind. So I need to be very careful with the idea of, you know, turning down the frequency of autosaves, but oh man, it feels like every single time I'm doing something, the game's like, it's time. He's talking. It's time to autosave just to interrupt the flow of whatever's going on. But yes, this is kind of my idea here. I want to surround the airport in, I can build roads that are directly parallel to this thing. I didn't know that. That's very cool. I don't want them to be right up against it because I can maybe do some detailing around it, but I like that I can do that. I like that I have that option. I think that's kind of neat. We'll bring this down to about, do I want to bring it in? Do I want to bring it like into that corner? I think I might as well. I did it on the other side. So I suppose sort of, you know, cutting in here seems like kind of a cool idea. And then straight down here seems like kind of a cool idea. And then if we chop all the extra parts out, that gives us a one-way road that now hugs and sort of outlines the airport itself, which I like. I like the idea of this because what I can do is I can now really control the flow of traffic around this thing and sort of make sure that it's not too crazy. We can also get an entrance to the airport up this way, which I think would be kind of neat, but that's kind of a side thing. That wasn't really the main reason I was doing this. To be honest, the main reason I'm looking to do it this way is because what I can do is make these roads all owned by me. And by doing that, I can stop other roads from being built that would attach to these. So that's kind of the goal. That's kind of the plan. I'm also thinking I might take this out. I might take this road out. I'm going to take this guy back a little bit. Take out all of these guys. I know that's a lot of buildings I'm getting rid of, but I can go ahead and sort of connect this guy to the airport road. And I think that's kind of cool. So we'll go a little something like this. That seems very steep. Can I? Oh man, I'm doing a lot more terraforming here in London than I planned to, but you know what? I think it'll be worth it. We'll go to here. We'll get our curve going up to about there. And I think that looks fine. I think that's okay. We can play around with this a little bit. We can get all those connections back. It's not the end of the world. What was this connection even for? I honestly don't remember. I really, really don't. I really don't remember. Let's take that out of there, I guess. And I'll put it back in. I'm not against having that connection there. I've got no idea what it was for, but we can bring it over this way. And I guess we could attach it to the airport if I wanted to. I'm not against it. I'm definitely not against it. We might start causing some traffic problems if traffic starts going around the airport for things, but you know what? I'm willing to deal with it. Actually, after some careful consideration, we're gonna do this instead. We'll just sort of rebuild all of the damage that I've done to London here is what we're gonna do. I'm not too sure how connecting this all together is necessarily gonna work. I do love the idea of a bridge in there though. I think that's very cool. I think a bridge right over that road is a pretty cool touch, if I do say so myself. So I think honestly, yeah, we can go for that. I would like to continue this guy out a little bit and then maybe another road sort of going this way just to sort of connect everything together, and a road coming down this way. I know I've overshot, but that's very much intentional because I can then rebuild it and have it carve out the terrain properly is what I can do. So that gives us some space for London to sort of redevelop and rebuild after I got rid of way more roads than I probably needed to, but that's fine. This bridge down here, I want to say we could probably redevelop as well. We'll give it a few more lanes, which does get rid of some buildings, but it's kind of now directly connected to our airport. So I think it just kind of makes sense that we have another major road going through the middle of London. And then before we go ahead and start getting things up and running around here, let's make sure that everything around that airport is in fact owned by me, because that will stop anything from developing on those roads, which it automatically is, which is kind of fantastic. So getting people in here, I guess, will be slightly tricky, but I think we'll manage. I also think the one-way road is going to actually end up being pretty good, because what I can do is I can build myself a truck station like here, and that is connected to the airport. So this can work as like a drop-off point. We can build a bus and tram station over here, and that will work as a drop-off as well for passengers. So it's okay. I'm sort of okay with this. I might also build myself a road depot back this way just to sort of fill in the space, but I think maybe we'll hold off on doing that for now, because we don't have anywhere for planes to go. We have an airport, but we don't have a destination. So now comes the question of whether, I don't know why I've got the game paused. Now we have to decide Dublin or Belfast. Now, I want to send it through Belfast because I've flown from Belfast to London so many times. But I can't deny the fact that there is kind of more room outside of Dublin. The land is a little bit flatter as well, whereas Belfast, I mean, we have down here, this isn't, I mean, Belfast City, again, we've talked before about how the scale in this game is a little bit off. Belfast City Airport is like right here. So I don't really know what's going on here. If we get too many, oh wow, we only have a rate of 10 going to Oma right there. What is the demand? 40. Okay. Well, let me very quickly duplicate you guys and duplicate you again. And that should get us up to about 41, which is fine. So that'll solve that issue. We shouldn't have any overloading there. Do I build an airport in here? Do I try and build an airport in here? This is the other problem. There's a lot of hills around here. I mean, this area is kind of flat, sort of. It's kind of. I just don't know. I feel like down here makes so much more sense. I really do feel like down here makes so much more sense for an airport. But you know what? Belfast is overloaded enough as it is. So why don't we just make it worse? We're going to build it in here is what we're going to do. My genius is really showing with this decision, but I'm going to flatten out some land here to begin with is what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring this road back a little bit is what I'm also, in fact, take out that road completely. Let me just flatten a whole bunch of terrain. I don't need to go too crazy with this one. We're not building a pad or a one-way road in the same way that we did with London, but I just want to be able to build myself a little stretch of road in here that is going to have the airport on it. It might have a one-way road, actually, just not a whole loop going around it the way London did. So a stretch of one-way road like this means we might want to flatten out this way just a little bit as well, just to make sure it's all nice and level. But a little stretch of one-way road right about here seems like it'll be fine, I am sure. We then want to get some parallel roads. So what I'm going to do is do a parallel road here. I'm going to do a parallel road here, and I'm going to do another parallel road right here. And I'm just using that to see what I mean by auto saving. Every single time I'm in the middle of doing something, I'm not turning it off, but it's every time, man. It's every single time. I'm just using these roads to get those to be parallel, but also to, line up with this. So this can come back a little bit. And then what we can do is come out and connect to that old road right there, which seems fine. This is an old road, by the way. You can see it's still kind of like cobbles and stuff like that. Ooh. Which does connect to, man, that bridge is going to get so much busier. This is such a thing though. This is very accurate to Northern Ireland, right? There is an airport. There is, what's it called? Belfast International Airport, but it's like right next to Antrim, which is a town that would be like here, ish. The airport's like here-ish, but it is on like a back country road. Like there's no proper major road that goes to it. The road that takes you from the airport is, oh, I don't like that. I don't love that. Let me try and get a little bit clever with how we're going to do this. So we'll go to here. We'll put a cut right about there. And then we can do an S bend up to that because I don't want to take away from the lock. That's kind of important. So we'll do something like this to not take away from the lock. And then do I want to curve up to this main road? Probably. It's probably not a bad idea. Although this stretch of road could probably be redone ever so slightly just to raise it up. But the point I'm getting at is, yeah, the main connections, the main road connections from that airport are all like backcountry roads. I've had people visiting here from all over the world at times, and like I'll go up, and if they're coming through that airport, you know, it's like, oh, what airport are you going through? Oh, it's called Belfast International. Cool, I'll get to see Belfast. No, you won't. It's not in Belfast. What do you mean? It's like, yeah, you know how Stansted isn't in London? No, but go on. It's basically that. It's a similar concept. But yeah, the roads that you take from that airport are genuinely just like backcountry roads with farms on them everywhere. Ooh. Oh, this doesn't work as nicely as I wanted it to, which is slightly frustrating. There's actually a lot of stuff going on with the terrain there. Like I'm carving out, there's like cliffs and stuff back there, which is really upsetting. I was kind of hoping to get this to not do that, but I think we're going to have to deal with the fact that it is going to do that, which is annoying, but I'm hoping I can make this work. Man, can I make this work? I don't know that I can. That bit of road is going to have to go away for me to get the airport into this space. I do want the airport in here. I think it kind of needs to be right about there. It's not going to have, we're going to get rid of that, the hangar and replace it with cargo. So this can live right here. We'll deal with that cliff in a minute. We'll deal with this nasty terrain stuff in a minute as well. We just want to try and get this connected back up to this road. So I suppose the easiest way to do it is going to be to sort of come off of here. We'll have those intersections kind of close together. That's not the end of the world. Bring this down this way a little bit and then curve around here. And that seems like it'll be okay. You're going to have planes going directly overhead as they come into land, but that's also probably okay. All right, so I think this will do just fine for what I'm now calling Belfast International Airport, although the cargo part of it is still Dundalk Airport, so we'll rename that to Belfast, we'll call it like Cargo Airport, I guess. So we have Belfast International, Belfast Cargo. The London Airport is right here. It is London City Airport, which I know isn't in this location, but it's the best that I had. We'll rename this to London Cargo, I guess. London Cargo Airport is kind of the easiest way to do it. And then what I'd like to do is come in this way and get myself a bus and tram station right about there. I want to get myself a truck station right about there. Now, these might benefit from some slightly longer roads, but I'm kind of okay with those just being right there for now. And then with Belfast, I want to try and do something similar. Now, we don't quite have the same amount of space here as we do elsewhere, but what I can do is make the platforms a little bit shorter, a lot shorter, and put them right in there. I think that's actually quite accurate. If I remember, Belfast International, I think, does have its bus stop on like the left side of the entrance. So I think this is actually quite accurate. And then cargo can just live over this way, with a much sort of bigger space to work with. But that now means we can bring people back and forth, which is very, very cool. This road right here is having some issues. That's not exactly ideal. This might need to get turned into a roundabout, man. It really might. Do we have roundabouts unlocked yet? Is that a thing we can do? I don't think we have them until way, way later. But this is such a busy space. I do feel like it would benefit from a roundabout. So I think before we get everything connected, I'm going to bring all this back, and I'm going to potentially make a huge mistake here. It's potentially not going to fit because we have an airport right next to it, but we'll see. We'll see what we can do is what we'll do. So let's flatten a bunch of terrain right here. We'll do something like this, and that should be fine. I'm going to have to adjust this road, but that's all right. We want to go in here. We'll use a medium highway. We'll go, I need more flat land is what I need. I also kind of need to get rid of those trees so I can see what I'm working with and what I'm doing. Let's flatten the terrain out here as well. And then very simply, we want to go, I'm going to say 50 meters in that direction should be fine. It's apparently going downhill, which I don't love. Not too sure about that or why it's going downhill. There we go. That seems a little bit more level. So now we want to go out about 50 meters. We want to go about 50 meters in this direction as well. 50 in this direction, and then take this part out and just make sure it's nice and flat as well. And then 50 in that direction, turn it into a circle, blah, 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 blah. You get the idea. There we go. We have ourselves a new roundabout. Whether or not it is going to be good is up for debate, but it exists, which is good. It exists. That's about all I got to, all I really got to say about it for now. But what I would like to do is go ahead and get myself a new, oh my God. Where are you all wanting to go? The train shuttle? Oh my God. How many people are waiting there? 100? Oh God. Okay. There's 7 vehicles in this. Do we have any more? Do we have any like better? No. I mean, this thing carries more people, but it's a lot slower. Let me put 3 more vehicles in this line. Then I'm going to double the number of vehicles in this line because I'm going to change this from train shuttle to train and airport shuttle. So this is going to take you to the train, but also to the airport, which is maybe a bit risky, but it means that we have a connection from the train station to the airport as well, which I think is kind of huge. So train and airport shuttle comes out here. Oh man. I'm building something is what I'm doing. Do I maybe want this to go to the airport first? I kind of do, right? Although, no, because then you have to go, like, if you want to get from the train station to the airport, you have to go into Belfast. It doesn't matter. Does it? It shouldn't matter. It should be fine. So here to there is fine. So it goes out that way. It comes down, it goes in. That should be all right. Yeah, that should be fine. I mean, yes, it's sort of crossing over itself, but that shouldn't matter too much. I'm sure that'll be fine. Okay. The rate is 230. That's all right. So train and airport shuttle now exists. We can now get people to the airport. Let's do the same thing down in London. And honestly, I wonder if using London Loop 2 would be the best way to do this. So if we go from Church Street, no, we go from the drive, which is right up here, to there, and then down Church Street. That seems pretty good. So that can now get you to the airport, which means we just need plane. Well, we need a line from here to Belfast, but other than that, we just need planes. So we'll zoom way out. The game gets really laggy when I do that, but we'll go ahead and do this. It is now air passengers. It is London to Belfast. And I guess we'll call this, let's do it like a nice strong blue color. That seems like a great idea. I'm so excited for this. I know no one's going to use it, and I know it's going to lose a ton of money, but I'm so excited for this. I love planes. Especially since we have like the DC-3 and the DC-4. Like they're going to look really good. I'm a little sad we never got around to using the DC-3 because it's one of my favorite planes. I love that era of just the polished, like shiny chrome looking planes. I love that so much. My second favorite is when they have that on the underside. So the DC-4 is a good option. Let's paint it that same strong blue color. Air passengers, London to Belfast. There it is. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. That line has a rate of 8 right now. Let's duplicate and duplicate again. Let's put 4 planes on that line for a rate of 34. There is no way anyone's going to be going direct from London to Belfast anytime soon, but I have planes and that's all I really wanted. That's all that matters. So while we wait for the planes to get off the ground, we're going to go ahead and start taking some tools up to Ipswich and Cambridge because the demand up here is so much higher than both Brighton and Canterbury. It should mean that this factory starts to level up a little bit and it's more money for me, which is good because we're going to start not losing a ton of money, but we're not going to make a ton of money from these planes for a long time. So we'll have a stop right in there for Ipswich. For Cambridge, we will go and do right about there, should be fine. And then what I'd like to do is come down this way, configure this guy, and we want to put a couple more of these guys on here so we have dedicated platforms for the 2 new destinations. So a little something like this should be fine. Put this on here, put this at the end. It kind of extends things out quite nicely. We'll go in, we'll say from here, we're going to be using platform number 1. And this is going to go up to Ipswich. So we'll say road cargo. It is IPSWITCH, I think. And it is tools to city, which is totally fine. We'll go ahead and make that a pink line is what we'll do. Oh, that's pretty good time. We got a freighter right there. Not bad. Let's make sure at Park Lane, you are unloading tools. And then we'll do another new line from here, from platform number 2 this time, going all the way up to that stop right there in Cambridge. And that is road cargo. It is Cambridge and it is tools to city as well. Now we don't have anything in Cambridge. Let's make it a blue line so that we can see it nice and clearly. And then we also need to make sure that it's only picking up the things I want it to be picking up just to be safe. So tools once again. And if we go ahead and look at both of these, Ipswich has a demand of 63. Cambridge has a demand of 90. So 63 and 90 is pretty steep, but we can totally manage it. We'll get ourselves the Opel Blitz truck. We'll go for, I'm going to say 10 to start with here. And it's tools, so we'll go sort of silvery. And that is going to be on our Cambridge line right there, which had a rate of 90, if I remember right. We have a rate of 93. That's not bad, but let me just put 5 more on here for future proofing, because it will grow relatively quickly, so it probably just makes sense. And then Ipswich was 63, yeah. So 63, it's a shorter line as well. We'll go ahead and buy, I'm going to guess 7 of these is going to be enough. I might be wrong, but we're going to find out together. Is what we're going to do. So the Ipswich line is right there. If we look at that line, 72, that's completely fine. So that should increase the production of tools down here by quite a bit. That should get this guy to start leveling up by quite a bit as well, which will be absolutely perfect. That's what we're looking for. And I guess, man, there's no one waiting down here for a train. Oh, because this guy's just gone out. That'll be why. Yeah, this thing's pretty good. It's not completely full, but it's getting there. Let me have a look then. Ooh, wow, those frames. Is anyone waiting in Belfast for a plane? Of course they're not. Of course they're not. Wait a minute. Oh wait, no. I was gonna say there's people on the bus. That's good. No, they're going to the train. Oh, that might be a problem then if the buses are full when they get to the airport. Oh, that might not be good. We might have a bit of a pickle right there. Although the buses aren't filling up, so we might be all right. I don't think there's going to be that many people going through the airport in Belfast anyway, so it's probably not the end of the world. Oh, now this is kind of a big deal. We have 5 people waiting in Belfast to go to London. That's pretty huge. Your destination is some kind of commercial building somewhere. I might regret clicking this button. It is that commercial building right there. We have people waiting in London to go to Belfast as well. That's really cool. I kind of wasn't expecting anyone to want to go back and forth just yet, but that's very cool. Looking down this way, we also have a bunch of tools waiting to head everywhere. This guy has upgraded a bit as well, which is lovely. There's a ton of steel in here, which is hopefully going to get picked up a little bit sooner than later. And you know, I've kind of been thinking about how it might be a good idea to put some kind of major bus station in the middle of Mullingar. So I'm going to go around and bulldoze a whole bunch of buildings here. And this will be our final project for today, because I mentioned in the last episode whether or not I'd be super focused or not, and today has been all over the place, to be quite honest, but I'm enjoying what we're doing. I'm also enjoying this while I can, because and this is a little update for you as to what's going on with me lately. There is and has been sort of an ongoing heat, I call it, I don't call it a heat wave, but you know, people say, oh, there's a heat wave in the UK right now. I don't want to call it a heat wave, because that feels like it diminishes things a bit. I don't think it's a heat wave, because this happens every single year, and like an idiot every single year, I keep forgetting to get some proper air conditioning solution into my office. And the problem with that, as you might imagine, is that I mean, look, buildings in Ireland, buildings in Northern Ireland, buildings in the UK in general, they're built to trap heat, and they do a very good job of trapping heat. And if you've been around the channel for a while, you've probably heard me tell this story, but they do a very good job of trapping heat. It is what they are designed to do. My office is no exception. In fact, my office is particularly good at trapping heat by design, because I helped build it. Quite literally, me and my dad and some of his friends helped. We all built this place. Is what we did. So we built this place with the idea that I'd be working out here. We built it knowing that, you know, it would need a lot of soundproofing. We built it knowing that, you know, the walls were quite thin. So we wanted to kind of like really do a good job with insulation, both to keep it warm and also to stop sound from leaking out if I was working at 4 in the morning, which routinely happens. So the long and short is that this office is exceptionally good at trapping heat. Now, there have been a bunch of like warnings about high temperatures outside and stuff like that in the UK as of late. And, you know, you're talking temperatures, at least here where I am, getting up to like 28, 29 Celsius. Now, that might not be a lot wherever you come from, but I'm used to it being cold. I like it being cold. I grew up where it's cold. I'm not used to warm temperatures, and it's the same inside. It's the same indoors. You know, I am comfortable at like high teens temperature wise, and that's probably about it. So anything beyond that is too much. My office at times has gotten up to like 35 Celsius, which is like high 80s, I think, Fahrenheit. And there's like no airflow in here. I can't leave a window open when I'm working, because you'll hear my dogs going nuts, or the neighbors will hear me going nuts. And it's just, I can't leave a door open. I can't leave a window. So there's no airflow. There's no air circulation. It's just humid heat getting up to 35 Celsius. And it stays that way from like, you know, it gets up to like 30 easily at like 6 in the morning some days, but it'll stay there until late in the evening. So all day I just either suffer, which it has got to the point of making me ill, or I just have to work nights, which I've been doing lately. So that's actually why there's been like a bunch of gaps in different videos, because there's just day after day where the office is like, the only way I can be in here is to leave the door open, and I can't do this when the door is open. So that's a bit of what's going on with me. I have been talking with some people. There is an actual air conditioning solution. So this should be the last summer that this is a problem, but it's still very much a problem right now. It's taken me years and years to finally get started in the air conditioning solution, but it's finally happening. Anyway, this little upper Mullingar thing, the reason I wanted to build this is because I want to build some bus lines that go from Dublin to Mullingar. I want to go from wherever to Mullingar. I just want to have public transport access to Mullingar from other places. So someone from Dublin can get a bus into Mullingar and then get on the train. I think that's going to be important. I would like to do the same thing with Galway as well. Probably not in that main road right there because that seems like a terrible idea, but right down there seems fine. Same thing in Castle Bar. We'll go for, I want to say, we already have Castle Bar Loop going that way. So you know what? We'll go for right about there and that should be fine. And do we need to connect anywhere else? Probably not. We could, I mean, Limerick, probably not. But we could bring Kilkenny into the mix. I think that's probably not the worst idea. So what we'll do is get a new line. I want to go from here and I want to go out to Dublin. Now we will probably get some public transport going around Dublin at some point, but for now we'll just sort of do things this way, which I'm completely fine with. We'll say it's road passengers. We'll say it's Mullingar, and we'll just say it's Mullingar / Dublin, I guess, is kind of how we'll do this one. And we'll just paint it. I'm not going to do the same brown. We'll go for like an orange color this time, just to sort of change it up a little bit, because it's not just a Mullingar loop this time around. And then with all of these lines done, we just need to get ourselves some vehicles. So let's head over to the Mullingar Road Depot. We'll get ourselves some of these guys. I think will be fine. We'll go for maybe 5 per line. That might be overdoing it a little bit, but I think it's what we'll go for. We'll paint them that same orange color. We can duplicate again, and we will grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll send those off to the road. Can I actually, if I zoom in a little bit, can I do a thing where I click, if I do this and I click that, I can now only see the lines that are like in front of me, right? So we'll send these to Castle Bar. We'll send these 5. They're going to go out to Dublin. These 5 are going to go out to good old Galway. And then the remaining ones can go down to Kilkenny, which should be totally fine. So that now gives us some bus connections to those locations. I would like to, I don't mind buildings in there, but they're going to look a little bit silly. So I'm kind of thinking that I want to set road ownership here on all of these to me. I don't know if that's going to stop buildings from popping up, but I'm going to, at least for now, go in here with some trees and just see how it goes. We're just going to completely cover the space in trees, just to really, really enclose this thing so that it's, you know, it's a little bit overdone, but it looks fine. It looks fine. It'll be fine. It's connected to the station, which is all I really care about. It looks like we already have someone coming in here as well. Actually, no, I think they're using this as a, yeah, they're using it to connect up to that road, but you know what? I'm okay with that. This thing's going to look really busy, and that's all I'm interested in. Anyway, I think that is going to do us for today. We can get some loops going around some of those towns over in Ireland at some point in the not too distant future, but for today, I think we've done enough. We've got some new industries in the south of England. We have some airports. We have some new stuff going on. It's very exciting, and I'm hopeful that we're going to see some good things come out of everything that we've built. But again, we're going to have to wait and see what happens. For now, that's going to do us. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.